Day, February 7th. I'm riding solo tonight. Dan had a family emergency that he had to go to, but the show must go on.
Welcome to the Whitetail Advantage podcast with your host, Brett Bovin. Thank you for tuning in and enjoy the show.
Well, if you listened to last night's show, the audio was on my end was not the best. Like I said, real quick, Dan's not gonna be able to be on the show tonight. He had a family emergency, so I'm just gonna be riding solo for tonight. Again, though, real quick, the audio for last night on my end, I was trying something different. It did not work out like I thought it was. In my headset, it sounded perfect. But when I listened back to it, I was like, wow, yeah, that's terrible. Don't so I had to redo everything but the show must go on. We reset everything. And I'm looking forward to tonight's guest. He's never been on a podcast show before, so it's his very first one. I'm very excited to have him on for the show tonight. And let's please give a round of applause for Morgan. Morgan.
What's up, Brett? Thank you.
Thanks for taking the time to sit down and chat and just talk about hunting.
Yeah, you bet, man. Appreciate the opportunity.
So, can you give everyone just kind of like a quick little bio, who you are, what you do, and obviously you're from Arkansas.
So I'm Morgan Gwin. I'm from Arkansas, born and raised. Engineer by day, I guess by night, and during the weekends I'm a duck/deer guide here at Delta Heritage Lodge. Got a family of two. Got a son that's 4, another one that's 8 months, and a beautiful wife named Abby. Yeah, man, just living the Arkansas dream over in the Delta.
Nice. So how long have you been hunting?
Man, my whole life. Where I come from, I grew up a couple hours from where I live now. Over, I call them the pine trees in South Arkansas, and
Okay.
man, it's a way of life over there. So we, my dad tells stories about changing our diapers in the deer stand. So been doing it forever.
Yeah. My favorite tree though are pine trees. I mean, I love them so much. I got tattoos of them basically on me.
Really? Well, you'd have a fun time there. They're everywhere.
Yeah. I remember going up to the UP and you get kind of in the northern part of Michigan and it's just pine trees and it's just beautiful up there. And I think I used to go up there as a kid and I grew up there. And so I think that's why pine trees is probably like my favorite. Obviously, I love them so much. I got a tattoo of them.
No doubt. No doubt. You bet. Man, I'm glad to be away from them. I'm over here where it's a lot of crop ground and nothing but
Yeah.
hardwood. So, yeah. But
So, I didn't mean to cut you off there.
oh, you're good, man. No, it was good till pollen started dropping, and then that was everybody hated that.
Oh, I bet. You have bad allergies?
I don't, man. Yeah, when it's doing that for sure to cover your whole truck, and glad to be over here in the farming country.
My wife, she's from the Chattanooga area, and she doesn't do well with the allergies. And she said, and I can't do it either, so I had to get shots for them. And she said, and I was like, I really want to move down to Tennessee. She said, Brett, you can barely go out in the summertime here in Michigan. You go down south, you're basically living inside.
Better stay away from that.
Yeah. Well, you and I were quickly chatting before the show started. You run your own hunting guide place, outfitters?
We do, man. We built our lodge in 2020. We're actually adding on right now. We have a lot of construction going on, but yeah, man, we built it. Started out as a members/guide camp, and the guiding quickly took off. We started out just doing duck hunting and goose hunting around the Arkansas Delta, and man, we ended up being able to purchase a Green Tree Reservoir that we're working on now, and it opened up a lot of opportunities for deer hunting. And we do a big dove hunt in September. Man, that's a blast. We'll have 30 or 40 people in camp, and
Yeah.
then we'll start our deer hunting in October and run that till December, and then starts the duck and geese. And right now we're actually doing something pretty cool. We have a hog hunting group coming in 2 weeks. They're going to do the thermal hog hunting. So we'll go out all night and, put them on stands, and some of us will go out and do the setups and coyote hunt and do all that. So
Now
that may turn into something.
2 questions with that. What you duck, like birds and deer, um, what is your, high productive season? Is it duck season or the
Yeah.
deer season? And then the
Yeah,
second
man.
part of that question is, what's it like to hog hunt in the thermals?
So I haven't done it much with the first part of that question is, man, ducks are our bread and butter.
Yeah.
Uh, that's we have a pretty good bit of ground that we hunt, and we also do goose hunts. I'm a duck guy that goose hunts, not the other way around. And the goose guys, they're you got to be bred into that. They're a different breed. So yeah, but man, so ducks is our main thing, and then we just luckily got blessed with some good deer land, and we have a 130-inch minimum on our bucks for them. So we have a really good portion of land here on the inside the Mississippi River levee that's very highly managed, and man, we get a lot of opportunities at big bucks. So
Hmm.
I don't know, you can see some of the sheds here in the background. We do that. That's coming up this weekend. We'll go shed hunting and go walk out all of our properties and find those. So it's pretty neat.
Oh, nice.
But the second part of that, the thermals, I'm not sure, man. I've looked through some of the scopes and seen some people use them, but I haven't really ever done it. So we just did a coyote setup about 20 minutes ago right here behind the lodge, and they turned on their call, and we sit there and watch. We seen a raccoon and stuff, but anyways, it looks like it'd be a lot of fun. I'm going to do it tomorrow night, so
Oh, man, is this gonna be your first time doing that?
that'll be my first time doing it. Yep. We
Oh,
have 3
man.
guys from Georgia that come over, so
Oh,
that'll
that's gonna
be
be
cool.
cool. I've seen that stuff on YouTube, and I've always been like, yeah, that's something if I was to go do something fun, because that to me that'd be like going down south to party type of hunting, and if I
You
was to
bet.
kind of compare it to anything, that's how I would.
You bet. I mean, I think it's a good opportunity to, get back out in the woods. We already do the evening goose hunts while we're duck hunting,
Yeah.
but man, we run, a lot of feeders and cell cameras. So we'll be at the lodge, and I'll check my cell cam, and it'll be a group of hogs. I think it'd be a good opportunity to get people back out and do another hunt.
You said your minimum is 135. I've always wanted to ask, what makes you how do I want to phrase what makes you get to that point where it's like, you know what, this is what we want our minimum for people to take? Do you like ask other outfitters what they like to generally do when it comes to that regard? Or is it just something like, you know what, this is what we want our minimum to be, and this is how we want to operate here?
It's a good question. Very good question, man. So the number one requirement is age. We like to have our bucks 5.5 years or older. And the reason we set 130-inch minimum is because a lot of the places around us, the larger areas that manage, they set theirs at 140. So we
Oh,
shoot for that 140 to 150 range. But it is the third day. It's getting down to the wire. We can normally put you on something, a little bit smaller in the 130-inch range.
now with that kind of being said, is there like, 'cause I never knew I guess the question is, with people that they go to these outfitter places and it's like that's their rule. It's like it's got to be 140 or whatever the minimum they say, and
Yeah.
it's like on the very last day. Is it a lot of outfitters do it, or is it kind of mainly just what you guys do? Where it's like the last day is like, you know what, if it's even close to 100, you can take it.
No. So we tell people that we'll find you if you shoot under the 130. Just because next year's guests need to have that opportunity.
Yeah.
But man, we watch our cell cameras and cameras so frequently that we know which deer are coming to which area, and we'll move you around accordingly. Like we're going to go hunt the big buck, and if the weather's not cooperating or he's just not moving, they're smart, and if that's the case, we'll move you to an area where there's a lot of the smaller, not say, I mean, 130-inch deer is a great buck,
Oh, yeah, no, yeah,
especially in
that's a
Arkansas.
pretty good buck.
It's not like you're taking a downgrade if you kill a 135-inch deer. So,
Right.
but we kind of we know which ones are frequenting which areas. So, and we run a lot of feed, so that kind of helps us keep a tab on
And are you allowed I have so many questions now that you
them.
being the
Yeah,
outfitter and, like, I'm trying to remember them all. A quick question is, are you guys allowed to bait in Arkansas?
we are. Yes.
Wow, so you're a cool state then. Michigan sucks. Uh, the football team too as well. Yeah, we can't bait up here in, Michigan, but, um, it's cool that you guys can bait. So you guys you said you feeders, so you have those in certain places through the property then. How much land do you have?
So we run our duck and goose hunts on anywhere from 10 to 15,000 acres. And we have right at 2,000 acres that we run our deer hunts on. But we
Oh,
have a couple
wow.
areas they're right in the middle of some really, really good property. And, it really helps us out being able to take clients in there. So, but, we own some of it. We have long-term leases on a lot. So we get to grow the deer. So we care about, growing mature deer just like everybody else.
Yeah. How if so someone wants to come to your place to hunt, what would be the steps basically to book a trip down there, and how much would
Well,
it be and stuff like that?
so we're on Facebook and we also have a website. A lot, and I'm on different booking websites as well. But yeah, find us, reach out to us, and give me a call. I field the majority of the calls and talk to the hunters, and then we'll start the deposit process and get you a date planned and move on from there.
Now, when your pricing, is it like packages, like you get like a week, you get lodging? What type of stuff is all included, like, in a
Yeah,
package deal?
so, like, say you're going to book a deer hunt, we do 3-day hunts, and that includes all of your meals, lodging. We transport you to the blind, snacks, everything included. Man, we try to take care of everything after you get here. You'll just have to buy your license and and shells. We do rent guns and shells and stuff too, but
Yeah.
majority of the time people bring their own rifles and yeah, man, we set you up once you get here. You don't have to worry about another thing.
What happens when? Because I've always kind of been curious, what happens if you were to get the deer and then you gotta transfer it back out of state? So if I went down to your lodge, how does that work transporting the carcass from state to state?
So what we do is we tell people to bring an ice chest, and our guides will quarter the deer after you harvest it. We'll clean and quarter the deer, and some states are CWD states, so they actually have to debone the entirety of the meat. But
Uh,
we'll debone that for you in the cleaning process. Put in an ice chest, fill it up with ice, and the deer head. We cape a lot of the deer out. We'll have to go through that same process. I think, man, the brain is really a big deal with the CWD. So you have to clean that out and do all that. But
hmm.
anyways, yeah. So but to answer your question, we quarter it and clean it and cape it for you and get it all situated so you can take it back home.
Now, you guys have a lot of success rates, like the people that are what do you think gives the hunter the best opportunity just on themselves alone? Like the hunters that come in there, what makes the ones successful and the ones non-successful?
That's a good question. Uh, Man, the thing I see is a lot of hunters come in and they want to hunt a spot, and we'll have a deer that we want to take in that spot, and man, they'll go hunt it for a day or a morning or evening, and only see 5 to 10 deer, and they want to move to go to another spot. Man, uh, you know, you've hunted your whole life, right? I've hunted my whole life, and man, I can count on just my hands how many really mature bucks I've killed, and that may have took a week or 2 weeks or a whole season, or I've got a couple I hunted for 3 years. So man, you're trying to hit a 3-day window to get that mature buck on his feet. You have to sit there with him, and you have to get in there when the wind's right and the right opportunity presents itself. You have to sit in there with him. So just a lot of people like to see. We have a lot of land. A lot of people like to see the different areas, but so when I set you up on a stand, I'm doing that because I've seen that buck daylighting, or getting closer to daylighting, coming in at, just say he's coming in at 6:30 at night, and it's getting dark at 5:45. He's not moving at 2 or 3 in the morning. He's kind of getting closer to daylighting, and
Yeah.
you just got to be there that lucky day when he comes out.
Hmm. What's it like for those major hunters that come in, they feel like, "Yeah, I know what it's like that, meme where, Ron Swanson or something goes to Lowe's, and he's like, "How can I help you? I know more than you." He
Yeah,
says,
right.
"Okay."
You can't
How do
guide
you
the guide.
yeah, how do you deal with, like, those type of hunters that come there and be like, "I know what I'm doing," or, like,
Man,
it's kinda egotistical type of hunters,
you
and
get
for
a
them
lot
to
of
go down there and
personalities.
trust you.
It's taught me some. I've been on some red fishing trips and trips up north. It's taught me, just being in this business, man, you have to trust the guide. They're there every day. They're, my rebooking depends on my success rate. And to answer your question earlier, before this year, we were at 100% on our bucks, on hunters, getting them. Right now, I'm gonna say we're at 90%. We had a couple guys come in that didn't get their 130-inch buck this year, but yeah, man, you have to trust the guide, and I'm not, we're not know-it-alls. We don't, we're not the best deer hunter in the world. I'll admit that, man. I used to deer hunt just to get to duck season, but now, man, it's become really interesting. I got to kill 12 bucks every year instead of 2, which is the Arkansas state limit. So
Huh.
I need to kill 12 to make the clients happy. So I've gotten back into deer hunting the last few years, really
Yeah.
hard. But yeah, man, it's just probably patience, and that's I'm like that. I turkey hunt a lot, and if I would have been patient a lot of times, I would have killed a lot more birds and deer.
Hmm.
So just got to come in and trust it.
What do you say what happens when those hunters that come down there and they are unsuccessful or they just didn't get it? Is there, like, some type of, "We'll help you get rebooked for next year," or anything like
Sure.
that?
Yeah, man, it really depends. Man, a lot of people ask me, is it a guarantee? And I'll tell them the only thing I can guarantee is a good time. We're going to
Yeah,
limit
right.
out on fun every time you come. But yeah, man, if it's just horrible weather or something like that, man, yeah, we'll try to get you back in here for a discounted rate, and get you on a deer, man. A lot of people, this is a one-time deal for them. This is their dream hunt. Coming to Arkansas, especially for ducks and stuff, man. People, I take that really serious. It's a dream for a lot of people, and I like to show people what I grew up hunting.
Yeah.
And that deer too. Like, we had a guy come this year from Arizona. He drove 20 hours to get here, and man, it was a lot of pressure, but we ended up getting him a great buck, and I think he flew back home. I don't think his truck was on the road. I think he was on cloud 9. So
Yeah.
it was neat, man. And that's the clients like that guy I'm talking about now, man. That's the reason I'm doing this, because, man, he came in, and by the end of the 3 days, I had him in my truck, riding him around. We're talking deer and just getting to know each other, and by the end of it, man, he left a friend. So it was pretty special to get his buck, and we got to track him together, and it was a neat deal.
That's cool, man. How Oh, man, I had a question. Oh, no, I lost it. For, those days where it's like they just cannot, like, they can't get out to hunt. So you said you give them some type of discounted rate, because that's like, it's not like their fault. I mean, like you said, they saved up all this money to go on and learn what's dream hunt, and
Yeah.
it's like, man. So what? I guess there's the question. What do you say to those people where it's like they're hesitant to do it, to save that money and go to an outfitter, because it's like, man, it's not a guarantee. Even if there's, it's basically spending. I don't know. You spend how X amount of money to get there. and for the lodging, all that stuff,
Yeah,
and whether the
that's a good question.
weather, and then how do you yeah.
Well, we're hunting wild animals, and at the end of the day, they are wild. And man, they're making a good living by not getting killed. Uh, so what we can guarantee you is, man, I got a clean lodge, I have good food, and we're gonna have good attitudes. And man, at the end of the day, you're paying for a trophy, but a real hunter the something I've seen is somebody that truly hunts. They're coming for the experience, and man, killing stuff's a huge bonus.
Yeah,
Of course, everybody's coming to kill something.
right.
Especially ducks, and they're paying that money. They want to come back with a trophy, and we take that serious. But man, at the end of the day, you're going for the experience, and you're getting to see a new state or a new area. And, man, a lot of our deer hunts, we have some areas where we're seeing 30, 40 deer a trip. And
Wow.
some people, I got guys from Louisiana, South Louisiana, come up and they'll hunt for a whole season and not see over 10. So they just enjoy just coming and seeing the deer and seeing a lot of young bucks, and man, you get to see deer fighting and grunting and being whitetails. So it's a pretty neat experience to get to see that. I'm ruined. I Back where I'm from in South Arkansas, there's no way I could go deer hunt there again.
So you're
No way.
basically working and partying at the same time.
You bet. You bet. Yeah, man. Growing up, so where I talked about where I'm from, man. Everybody there is a hunter and fisher, and they're some of the best in the world down there. We're I'd say the jack. Not a you're not a specialist. You're a jack of all trades. That's
Yeah.
master of none. That's how them guys are down there. They're pretty close at mastering everything. But man, you know, uh, we start out fishing in the summer. We run yo-yos. Yes, the auto fishers for crappie and stuff. And man, we frog hunt. We do everything you can do in the summers. Roll that into deer season and duck season and squirrel hunting. All that. Come out. You go into turkey season in the spring. Start bass fishing, and it's just a cycle down there of just constant doing something. So man, which in doing that, it's all we have to do. So man, the game is smart and it's not plentiful. you know
So, yeah, I could how have you been a huge fisherman?
yeah. So man, grew up fishing. My dad, he fished a lot of tournaments. And man, I remember being my first fishing memories are sitting in the boat. I had a Snoopy pole with a bare brim hook, and I was fishing inside the live well while him and my brother were out there catching the bass. I was snagging them in the live well. So that's kind of my first fishing memories. And man, he raised us by we'd go stay on the lake every weekend during the summers and springs. And yeah, man, grew up bass fishing and brim fishing and doing all the above.
Oh, nice. What's, like, your favorite, fish to fish for?
I would a couple years ago, if you'd asked me, I would have said bass. That's all I wanted to do. But man, I had a guy introduce me to crappie fishing, and started doing that with a pole and going in the tops and jigging. And it's a pretty close second now. I'm not sure. It's kind of even.
My, Dan on here, he took me fishing once and, because I never got a chance to go bass fishing, say that 20 times fast. I've always been mainly fishing, bluegill mainly growing up, and, so he's, "Alright, we're gonna go bass fishing and pike fishing at the same time." Never caught a bass out there while we're out there. We're almost out there for 12 hours. But then there was one it was, like, right at the end, we're about to get ready to call, and I caught a pike, and that thing he's like, "If you catch a pike, you're gonna know it's a pike because it's like, bam, and then they just start it's like a bullet." And man, it
Right.
was fun as shit catching that thing, and it was a decent sized one, but ever since that, I was like, "Yep, pike fishing is number 1 fishing for me."
You're a pike fisher.
Yep.
You bet.
Yeah.
Never caught one, man. Never caught one. So
I've never knew the places really to go pike fishing, and then those people, it's like, "Where do you go pike fishing?" "Well, I can't tell you, it's a secret." "Really?"
you bet.
Where I'm just going out there to catch and release, man. It's not like I'm gonna go blab to everybody. I hardly ever do
Yeah.
this myself.
Right. Yeah, I don't get up north, man. I would like to though. That'd be really cool to do it.
Yeah, Michigan, I think, we have, like, it's like you're always within, I think it was 6 miles of about some form of body of water.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
ample opportunity.
yeah, and, when I was in the police academy, we had to do water training because they were that serious about how close we are to water, and there's a lot of times where you gotta do, like, water rescue and stuff like that, so that was a good 2 weeks of training, and it was pure hell.
Oh
But
man,
yeah,
sounds like it.
it yeah. So, tell me a story, let's share a story of something that's gonna stick with you for that's, like, number 1, it's like you're gonna remember the details about.
You talking about like with hunting and fishing?
Yeah, any story, any story. Like, it's like, "You know what? This is just an amazing story. It's one of my favorite outdoor hunting, fishing story."
So, I guess the coolest, I'd say my coolest story that I have, it's the one I've told the most. The head of him is back here. So 5 years ago, 5 or 6 years ago, kind of time's passing pretty quick, but right north of us here, right by where my house actually is, we have the largest concentration of alligators uh, outside of Florida and Louisiana. And
Uh-huh.
we drew a guy that I worked with drew a public land alligator tag, and you have to harpoon them and fight them in with the with the rope, and then shoot them with a shotgun. It's not like swamp people where you get to set a chicken on a line,
Yeah.
and you go out there with a 22 or rifle, shoot them swimming. So, anyways, man, me and my brother had been scouting this alligator for say 3 years. We'd been seeing him under this bridge, and he was a giant. And so this guy got a tag, and we ended up getting him. And man, it took us like 7 or 8 hours to kill him. And when we did, he ended up being the state record. He was 13 foot 10 inches long, so he was a state record for like 4 or 5 years. So it was,
Really?
yes, it was an awesome experience. Yes.
Wow.
So
What
it it was crazy, man. Just the whole situation was crazy.
did you get it, like, mounted in any way or
So I have, like I said, I have the head over here.
Oh,
Yeah, so we got the head freeze dried. The thing's this long. It's huge. But yeah, we ate him, and got man, we had like 4 ice chests full of tenderized meat. He was an absolute dinosaur. So
sh
it was crazy.
okay, 2 questions. What's it like to hunt alligators, and what's it like to eat alligators? I I just can't get that wrapped around my head. I mean, I've seen it happen in, like, Florida on TV and YouTube, but
So here's a little different. We have to do it at night. And so we go out at at dark, and you have to use like low lit lights. We used a red light when we killed that big one, so it's kind of dim. And man, you cut out there at dark, and you're in a boat, and you have like so you see the alligator. His eyes shine like they talk about on TV. They're real bright. They shine like a reflector. So you get close as you can with the motor. They're spooky. Now these things are smart, right? So
yeah.
you have to shut your motor down, and then you have a handheld trolling motor. So you're in this boat, and you have a real dim light, and you have this handheld trolling motor that you're just easing up on them, so they can feel the vibration and any sound. So you're being dead quiet, and so yeah, man, it's really intense when you're getting up on them. It's just like a huge buck, man. Every alligator you're getting on, it's your heart is just beating because you have a stick with a rope on it that you're fixing to hit this thing with,
Yeah.
you know. But at the same time, man, it's they're hard to get. So just say it's 2 o'clock in the morning, and you've tried to get up on 10 of these things, and some of them take 30, 45 minutes just to get up on. And
Really?
man, yes, like yeah, you got to go really slow. And the thing is this 14-foot alligator's eyes reflect the same as a 3-foot alligator's eyes.
Oh,
So
so you have no idea
scout,
how big that thing is.
no, not unless you're scouting. Not like if you get them scouted out, like we knew where he was.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of how we got him. So I live here, so luckily I get to go around and find them and look for them. But yeah, man, if you mess up on the one you're trying to hunt, then you're just going out trying to find just the biggest one you can, and you don't know if he's 7 foot or 14 foot, until you get up on him. Because the light, like I said, the lights are so dim, and you're having to just really ease up on them. And yeah, so it's cool. It's a great time. I think everybody needs to do it. I'm getting a little bit older now, where I don't like just staying out all night. I like getting home to, my family and getting sleep. So I'll do it if I have a buddy, like a close friend that gets a tag. I'll go do it with them. But other than that, I'm not applying for tags trying to go kill alligators anymore. And it's kind of hard. It'd be like killing a 200-inch buck, your first buck too. That was our first
Really?
alligator we ever killed. So
Wow.
it's kind of hard to beat that.
Why do you have to hunt them at night? Is there a specific reason? Is it because of their eyes, or is that why?
And state regulations.
Oh, it's a law
And
that you can only hunt them at night.
it is,
So
yep.
that's like the shooting hours for deer, basically.
You bet. 30 minutes after sunset and 30 minutes before sunrise is when you have to quit.
Why? I don't.
Sure.
You can't just hunt them during the day. It doesn't. Is
I'm
there?
not sure.
Huh?
And another thing is you have to have a rope secured to them. You have to either noose them, which is you can't. That's not. It really doesn't work that good. Or harpoon them. So you have to get within 10 feet of this thing before you can ever get connected with him. So, and they're
Huh?
smart. Like I said, it need to try it just to see what I'm talking about. They're extremely smart, and they go on. They're spooky. So,
I,
yeah, I don't know why, and we can't shoot them with a rifle either. So it's kind of like they're making it as tough as they can on you.
so many questions. I just don't. What the fuck, man? So you can only spear hunt these basically
Yeah,
these
you
dinosaurs.
bet. You bet.
What? Oh, okay.
I mean, it's fun. It's a
Oh,
lot of
no, don't
fun,
get me wrong,
especially
it
when it
sounds like a
works.
blast. I'm just trying to grasp my head around what okay, what
I'm not sure.
what's the, like, the season, like, start opening day to, and last, hunting day for these
So
things?
we get 2 weekends in the end of September. So a Saturday and Sunday is all that we get. I mean, we have a lot of alligators here, but they're not, like Louisiana or Florida where they're just in every water hole. But yeah, I mean, there's a bunch here, but man, I think on public land they give out 20 or 40 tags in this unit. And then on private land, you can pretty much just over the counter. You can just go buy one for $5 and kill him on any private land here if you're an Arkansas State resident.
And you only get 2 weekends to hunt these things?
Just 2 weekends, man. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you, the unit that we killed this gator in, after the first night, if you don't get it done, it is really tough because it's 40 people in mud motors and airboats, and there's a lot of people that aren't stealthy. They just ride up on them, and they're really spooky after the first night. So it's really tough if you don't get them pretty quick.
Why is it so short? It seems is it just because the amount of alligators you have down there?
I guess so. Yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, man, I don't know. I don't
So
know.
many questions, Morgan, and I
Okay, I don't know a lot of I question a lot of the stuff the Arkansas Game and Fish does, so I'm not sure.
I don't even know how to okay. I guess it's just because
But it's fun.
I don't have the chance to hunt alligators, and I have no idea. My mind
It's
is
cool,
just
man.
it sounds
Like I
like a
said,
blast, and I really wanna do it.
it's something about trying to hunt something that can hunt you, and
Right.
that the one we killed, the big one we killed, man, he definitely made it very interesting. He was biting the side of the boat and pulling it like a canoe. It was crazy, man. So after we stuck him the first time, he went under the water and stayed on the bottom for 4 hours and 30 minutes and didn't come up for a breath of air for 4 hours and 30 minutes. So we're sitting there,
What the
drinking
shit?
waters and eating Snickers and just talking to the other 3 guys in the boat for 4 hours and 30 minutes. And I'm just sitting there holding the line off the side of the boat, waiting on him to move. I know, man. Well,
What?
it was like holding a yeah, it was like being tied to an oak tree. I mean, he was huge. And when we killed him, his claws all had mud in them where he had just went to the bottom of the uh, canal and just
Uh-huh.
grabbed onto it. And luckily, a guy, Reagan McDaniels, he's one of my good buddies. He was there, and yeah, he was like, "Man, we got all night. He has to come up sometime." Or I'm like, "Yeah, you're exactly right." So, anyways, he ended up
Is that
coming up, and
is that a common thing for alligators once they get hit is to just well, I'm assuming obviously they all wanna dive and get away, but to, like, go down there and just sit?
man, we I've I've got a hold to one other alligator of this caliber, and he kind of did. He was going to do the same thing, but man, a lot of them, the 10s and 11 footers, you can kind of manhandle those. They don't get down and get in the mud, but they don't weigh
Right.
800 pounds.
Yeah.
Something that's 800 pounds does what he wants to.
Yeah, he's basically, "I'm in charge of this. You can't
He was in charge. Yeah, he was definitely in charge.
I bet the sheer factor of pure death hunting these things would just make things 10 times of a different high than I could ever imagine, I bet.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, even the smaller ones, when it's dark and you can't really see too well, and you're getting up on them, and it's really quiet, and the frogs are chirping, and you're getting up on this thing, and you don't really know what it is. I'm telling you, man, your heart, every one of them you go on, your heart is beating, just like a 150-inch bucks coming under your stand. That's fun. It's really fun. Getting to do that. But also, like, after 8 hours of riding around trying to, you know, kill one of these things, and it's dark, and man, you get mad and you're like, dude, why am I even out here? So it's time to go home. I'm
Right?
done.
I'm
Never
tired of this
doing this
shit.
again until next year.
Well, since we were kinda got on the topic of what's some, like, hunting laws that are, like I gotta get off alligator talk because 'cause I'm going down a rabbit hole and
You bet.
I
You
keep
bet.
hitting a my brain is not like I don't know. What is a hunting law that you would like to see changed or that you don't agree with or you'd like to see implemented?
Man, I'd say our feral hogs. You know, I don't want to get on this, man. I don't know where this podcast is going. I think I support the Arkansas Game and Fish. If anybody's listening, but yeah, I'd
Oh,
say
no,
the
our
feral
show,
hogs.
we extremely support the men in blue, don't get me wrong, I'm a former
You
cop,
bet.
still somewhat certified and stuff like that. It's
Great, great.
there's a lot of laws that I would like to see changed in the hunting world, it's nothing about that,
You bet.
so
Man, I would say probably like I said, the feral hogs. Man, I think the government's here. They're getting grants to go, to kill these things or to manage them. And so a lot of the WMAs here, you can't shoot them or kill a hog on them, which, man, makes it a really good breeding ground. I understand the concept behind it. They think that people are transporting them into these WMAs to get a good herd going so they can hunt them with dogs or, you know, other ways of hunting. Man, hog hunting here is a serious thing. People run hounds and dogs and stuff, and it's a big following here. Uh,
hmm.
but yeah, man. So they kind of take it on. They're trying to let a government, you know, manage these things where a lot of rednecks sitting around Arkansas. If you took the same money you're paying them with and doing the hella hogging and doing all that with, if you paid a bunch of rednecks a bounty on them, I think you'd probably have a better, better idea or better chance of getting that. I think, man, they say you have to kill at least 66% of a hog herd to maintain it without it having growth. So
Wow.
I think you'd be a lot better off of getting that done if you just get into the people's hands.
For the people can you explain what a WMA is?
So that's a wildlife management area. It's, public land in Arkansas. That's the state-owned land, and then we also have refuges, which are, national owned owned land.
So people can hunt on these WMAs, but are they
You
allowed to
bet.
hunt on these refugee areas?
Yes, they are. Yeah, the refuges. Yeah, man. We have a huge following of people that come duck hunting, and a lot of people whitetail hunt here too. We have a lot of public land here in Arkansas.
Is there any, like, specific requirements that people should know about before they hunt on these, like, public land areas?
Yeah, like if you're coming duck hunting, you have to have a 5-day permit. And out of state people can only hunt 30 days out of a 60-day duck season. Um, yeah, definitely look at the rules and regulations and get figure out what you have to hunt these public areas, because it's going to cost you. Like the refuge, you have to do a $20 permit to get on it. I have to do that too, so. But yeah, there's definitely, a lot more rules and regulations there than it is on private land.
Are you well, I guess I answered my own question before I asked it. Private or a public land hunter?
So, man, this place is here because I seen the writing on the wall on where public land was hunting. So, man, just to go a little bit into my duck hunting past. I grew up in where there wasn't many ducks on the Washita River in South Arkansas. And man, our good day for us would be like, 5 wood ducks, a mallard, a hooded merganser, and 6 squirrels. That was like a good duck hunting day for us. And so, man, I came over here to the Delta. Luckily, my parents got a place over here when I was 10 years old. I'm 33 now. And man, I got to see what actual, duck hunting was. And so, yeah, man, I started doing the public land thing. And man, my whole hunting career has been just people. I think the good Lord put them in my life to, show me. Man, I'm a guy. I feel like I've hunted a bunch and I know a pretty good bit about it. But man, I'm the first guy to ask a question, and I want to learn from other people's deals too. You can teach me something in 30 minutes that it took you 30 years to learn. And I had a guy tell me that one time, and it stuck with me. So, man, I was going around. Me and my brother were finding public land areas that we like to hunt, and man, one of my good buddies, his name's Zach McCauley. He invited me on a duck hunt, and he was going with some guys. It was 10 or 15 people in the hole, and like 10 of them it's called cut down duck calls. It's where you file the soundboard of a old olt, and
Huh.
man, I've never seen anything like it, dude. I learned more in 4 days of hunting with them than I did in 10 years of hunting by myself. I learned how to work a duck, and
Wow.
so man, we were killing 14, 15 limits of mallards by 8, 9 o'clock. And so, man, I really learned a lot there. And, man, so that really fueled my fire. I went and got one of them cut downs. And my brother actually bought me one like the next day. And, man, it turned out to be – it's my favorite. I don't know what would happen if I lost that call. I would be in trouble. But so, man, our numbers went up. And, after we got that, man, we got a group of friends that, we'd go out every day of the season, and we'd come over here in the Delta and stay. And, man, it's nothing like getting a group of, 5, 6 guys that you're really close with, and you hunt with them every day. And, hunting public land, something I miss about doing this and hunting public land is, you have to be there. It's the 4 o'clock rule. I can't go on the public land until 4 o'clock in the morning. So we would go sleep at gates or, drive up and get there at 1 o'clock in the morning. And man, you're running the hole at 4 o'clock. There's a lot of boat races here, and I never really did get too much into that. But there's a lot of races, and you go get the hole at 4 o'clock. Well, man, it's just you and 6, 7, 8 buddies sitting in the dark for 2.5 hours waiting on daylight. It takes you 10 minutes to put the decoys out. So, man, the conversations we had sitting there waiting on it to get daylight, man, it was something amazing. And you get really close knit with these guys, because you have to trust them. Because, man, you
Yeah.
go do a lot of footwork and scouting, to find the spot. And once it's your spot, man, there's a lot of etiquette that goes in after that. Because, if I take you to my favorite hole, I don't expect Brett to bring back his friends, next week when I'm at work and can't hunt. So,
Right.
you kind of got to get you got your group, and then we had 2 or 3 other groups that hunted different parts of the state, and we all trusted each other. So when I had ducks, I'd call them, vice versa. So, man, we got to hunt, from North Arkansas to South Arkansas, and we have, 90, 100,000 acres of public land. So, man, you get 15 to 20 people or more scouting, you're going to have a lot better chance of staying on them.
I've seen where some places, and I think my buddy told me here in the state of Michigan, the those you see it all the time on the internet where it's like they got these fancy um blinds in the ground. I don't know exactly what they're called. I've never
Yeah,
been
yeah,
in
pit
the
blind. Yeah,
pit, but yeah, I think he was telling me that they're illegal in Michigan. I'm not 100% sure. Are
okay.
those legal in Arkansas or not illegal?
Yeah, yeah, they are. A lot of people hunt those. We hunt some too.
Now, did you get them all set up with a TV and direct TV and you're just staying down there and
No, we don't have any of those, man. I would like to get one though. We did build a couple big blinds in our timber last year. We're going to put some stoves and stuff, but man, I really want the duck hunt to be good enough. We don't have to eat breakfast and get out there early enough, and we can come back to the lodge.
yeah,
Not
right.
always like that, but yeah, man. I hear stories about like Reelfoot Lake. You show up and like you said, it's couches and TVs and breakfast cooking when you get there, and you eat again at 12 o'clock, and you stay in the blind till 4. We typically don't do that. Normally, we end our hunts about 10 in the morning, and then we'll send the guys out about 1 o'clock to go on the evening goose hunts.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that to me, that would just kinda like if I was to be in the duck hunting, that would be probably be the funnest thing to probably do, only because I never experienced it, and, being one of those type of things where it's like, yeah, we're just sitting out here and you got and to me, it's the buddies. You go out there hunting with 3, 4, or
Yes,
5 of your best buddies, and you're just sitting down there, you're hunting, you're either watching football or sports, and you're eating, and you're all just kinda hanging out, and you're hunting at the same time. Man,
you bet.
that just looks like a blast.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Anything, man. That's why duck hunting is my favorite out of everything. Is you get like you said 4 or 5 buddies that you're close with, and man, I got a family now, and we're busy down here every day, and man, it's just don't have as much time as you used to back when you were in school or whatever. So man, it's really good to get in the blind with your friends and sit there for 4 or 5 hours and just shoot the breeze and catch up, man. That's why I like duck hunting the best. It's a social sport.
Yeah.
Where deer hunting, you go sit there in a blind, you got to be quiet for 5 hours.
Yeah, you're all
It's great.
alone. Yeah.
Yeah. I use that, man. I use that as my getaway time to, just go spend some time with me and, you know, talk to good Lord and just hang out. But, other than that, man, I'm a duck hunter and goose hunter through and through for sure.
Oh, man, I just had a question, I lost it. Son of a gun.
So have you ever
Uh,
been duck hunting?
no, I've never been. I've always wanted to
You can
go,
change that.
and,
You bet.
my buddy, he goes down to, not Arkansas, where was it? It was Missouri. He
Okay.
goes down there a lot to do a lot of goose hunting down there.
You bet.
Yeah. Oh,
That's cool.
that's what the question was. How do you manage your you work full time and run this outfitter business, correct?
You bet. Yeah.
So you're working basically 2 jobs, well, a job and a half, because that doesn't sound like a necessary job. It sounds like a lot of fun actually to be running an outfitter business.
It's work.
Yeah,
It's work.
and, um, and having family. How do you manage all 3 of those and your hunting time and working all that
Man,
out?
still figuring that out. Really
Yeah.
am. But man, it's good Lord's blessings with some good people to help. And luckily, my brother, who we're best friends, he's a couple years older than me. We're 50-50 in this whole deal. And, man, when I can't be here, he's down here, vice versa. So, when clients are here, just say you're doing a 3-day hunt, majority of the time, I even cook dinners and stuff, and he does too. So like I'll cook the first night and I'll hang out with the clients, and then the second night he comes down and does his meal. So he'll stay with them then, and the third night we'll normally both be down here. But yeah, man, just kind of give each other breaks when we can. But it's stressful during duck season for sure. Man, we have to make all the decisions, and we lean on our guides too. We got a couple of really good guides that help us out, and we can trust those guys too. But man, it's tough. It's tough. The off season's where the real work happens. Man, we grew rice in our timber this year, and man, you talking about work, that was keep it in. We had the driest summer on record ever, I believe.
Oh,
So, and rice has to have water. So we burn
yeah.
up trash. We're pumping a lot of our stuff with trash pumps and, with 3 or 4 inch trash pumps. And, we had a guy full time watering stuff and, getting stuff ready for duck season. We have employees that we have hired. So yeah, man, that's a whole another deal in itself is managing employees. I am an employee and, managing employees has made me a better one, I feel like, because
Yeah.
man, I just want to be able to hand this off and say, hey, get it done. Here's the tools to do it and expect you to get it done. So that's
I
made me a better employee.
I've seen, some outfitters that their family lives in, like, the lodge. Does your
Okay. Yeah.
family live in that lodge, or is it kinda like you have your own house over there, and then you have the lodge where your guests stay?
So I wish you could see it. Wish I had like a drone so I could show you the, bird's eye footage of this place. It's kind of turning into a campus, but so we have our original 3,000 square foot lodge that I'm sitting in, and we can sleep 32 in it. We have, bunk beds. Well, we just built an addition onto this, and it has 5 bedrooms and an office, which will be our office in it. And then we just put the trusses on a 50 by 108 foot building, and that's going to be our family house and also a shop area. And we'll have an area for our guides to stay there. So to
Oh,
answer your question, up to this point, my family, I live 35 minutes from here, so I can get back and forth pretty quick. But now we're fixing to move our families down, and they're actually going to be doing the cleaning and helping with breakfast, and you know, get them down here to help too. It's definitely a family affair because man, even though my wife's not down here watering rice, man, she's taking care of my kids and holding the house down while I'm out here chasing my dreams. So she's
yeah.
pretty cool for letting me do it.
Man, she sounds like an amazing wife, an amazing
She is,
person.
dude. She is. Yeah. But we both have good wives, man, because, like I said, I got 2 kids, a 4-year-old and an 8-month-old. And my brother has 3 kids, a 4-year-old, a 2-year-old, and a 1-year-old. So, we have young families and, man, we only have a 60-day duck season. So that's not too terribly bad. But I'm glad to be back taking them to church and spending the weekends with them and, spending the evenings with them. It
Right.
was tough this year. I'm glad to get
Oh,
them
man.
down here for next year.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know how I could be able to. I owe a lot of my hunting time to my wife because it's like, man, she guts it out, and she's a tough woman, man, and
Yeah.
I got a 3-year-old, she's gonna be 4 in November, and I got, one that's gonna be 1 year in April,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
the daughter's the oldest, and then I got my son, and my daughter, she's just like a little Tasmanian devil running around the house, just destroying everything, and she just very
You bet.
loud, and man, my woman, she's a saint, she's
Yeah. She's
yeah.
like, you said, why do you get to go spend, 5 hours by yourself?
Yeah, she sometimes will mix because I remember a lot of times I'll come home and she's like, "Did you see a deer?" It's like, "Yeah." "Well, did you shoot it?" I'm like, "No, I passed on it. I wanted to get something different." And she's like, "Well, it's almost the end of the season, and I want some freaking meat in the house,
Want some deer
and
meat.
I have to
You
stay here
bet.
at the house with these 2 kids. You better not come home empty-handed again."
You're like,
'Cause if
say
I come
less.
home yeah, if I come home empty-handed, I'm not gonna be a happy man when I get home.
You bet. Say no more. First thing it walks out, boom. Heck
Exactly.
yeah. Nice. Well, that's good, man. Glad to hear you got a good wife too. They definitely help for sure.
Oh, they do. Well, getting ready to wrap up the show for tonight. Is there anything that we didn't get to tonight that you really wanted, like, I really wanted to talk about this tonight? A story you didn't get to share or anything?
No, man. I mean, I think we covered it all. Hour passed by pretty quick.
Yeah, it did. I just I still I so when we get off this show tomorrow, it's all I'm gonna do is just look up alligators hunting in Arkansas because I
You
wanna
bet.
know
Do it.
so much more about this.
You bet.
Man. But, hey, thanks again for taking the time and, coming out and talking and sharing some stories, and Didn't realize we'd get into alligator hunting and duck hunting as much as we did, but man, it was a fun conversation, man. I really
Yeah.
appreciate it,
If you're
man.
ever
Thank
over
you
in
so
Arkansas,
much.
man. Yeah, if you're in Arkansas, give me a shout. And yeah, anybody that wants to come see us, we're CUS Outdoors. You can type that in Google, CUS Outdoors or Delta Heritage Lodge, and give us a shout, and we'll put you on something.
Where exactly is that in Arkansas? A quick.
So if you look on the maps and you look right where the Arkansas River meets the Mississippi River, we're pretty close to that. Our land is right there on that. So
Okay.
Dumas, Arkansas would be a real good place to start looking on the maps.
Well, I'll make sure I put that out there so everyone can see where you guys are at. You got your own website, correct? You just said that?
You bet. Yep, DeltaHeritageLodge.com.
All right. Hey, Morgan, thanks again, man. I really appreciate it. And
Yeah,
I
man.
hope you have a great night. Thank you so much.
Enjoyed it, Brett. Thanks.
Thank you. Man, that's an awesome human being right there, man. To get that giant alligator, man, that is still something I cannot get my head around. I don't know why. To to me, I don't to me, hunting alligators would just be like the fun trip of a lifetime, but just pure fear of like, man, if I trip and fall and I hit this alligator like the wrong way or something and I fall in the water, man, I could possibly die. Man, that would just be something scary. But man, yeah, you gotta check out his website. They're doing a lot of work down there. And last night, well, no, Dan couldn't be on the show for today. He had a family emergency. I did make a quick note of something that I did want to say. Oh, I did put it in my notes. Where is it, real quick? I'm sorry about this. So I just want everyone to know that, like, Dan and I are putting in a lot of time into this, and Sean is putting a lot of time in is this as well, even though he's not here. He's not going to be on the show for a while. He's still helping out in a lot of ways, and we really appreciate it. I live the philosophy of there is no tomorrow, like the famous quote from the movie The Rocky. There is no tomorrow. So I get 4 hours of sleep a night, and I get dead tired. But it's because I really want to make sure that I can go on and on about this. But man, I really thank everyone out there for watching the show. We're just getting started, just the beginning of it, and I'm excited to have Dan a part of the show. I'm excited to have Sean part of the show. And if anyone out there is wanting to ever join the show and just be like, hey, I want to pop on for a phone call. There is a gentleman, though, that we did not get a hold of last night. We apologize for that. Dan had some audio problems, so we can't take phone calls at the moment only because he can't hear. Until he gets headphones situated, then we can get phone calls back and up and going again. But we just want to say thank you all for being a part of this, and we're excited to see where this thing goes. And I had something on here, and I was going to make it play, but I don't remember which button it was because I put a lot on here. So I guess, but tonight was a fun show. Sucks Dan couldn't be here, but I understand completely. Family comes first to Dan and I. So no matter what, Dan, I'm here for you if you ever need anything. So we're gonna end the show a little early tonight. We'll see you tomorrow for our last show in Arkansas. And alligator hunting. Damn.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Whitetail Advantage Podcast. We hope you enjoyed the show, and we will see you next time.